Hey everyone, so let's talk about how to do part two. So for honors project part two, you're going to probably spend some significant time at nhd.org. And throughout this project, honestly, so try to kind of learn how to navigate it, and that'll be helpful to you guys. So we'll go to student resources. That's going to be the main tab that you go to all the time. And you're going to want to use the helpful research links and the annotated bibliography. So for your topic, you're going to kind of narrow it down to one topic. If you change your topic, that's okay. Use the topic list I provided in part one. Choose your topic and then start researching. So these helpful search links right here are going to be very, very useful to you guys. So if you look, there's organizations and institutions. These are all credible sources that you can use. If you keep scrolling down, you'll find national libraries, archives, and directories. Those will be helpful. And then they even have a section for U.S. history primary sources and other major websites. And JSTOR is one that I used in college, and I absolutely loved it. I'm sure a lot of these ones are excellent. And so you just kind of go to one of these, and you are going to need at least one primary source and two secondary sources for part two. Now, I do want you to definitely have more than 3 sources for your project, but for now, just find 3 really good sources for part two. All right, so when you're searching, you would search like this. So say you wanted to do your project on, let's see, what would be a good one? You could do Jacksonian democracy. So you just put it in quotes because you want both words to come up. And then if you want to narrow it down a little bit more and you want to read about the Indian Removal Act, you would say and then you would type in quotes, so those words will be together, Indian Removal Act. See if anything comes up for that. So that should have narrowed down our results a little bit more. All right, and so here are some journal articles for the Indian Removal Act and Andrew Jackson. And so really, really good sources listed here. Awesome. And so really, really easy to search for sources on nhd.org. And remember, you're going to want at least one primary source and at least 2 secondary sources for this part of your project. Now, what's the difference between a primary and a secondary source? Well, you can read about that on the NHD website as well. You go to For Students, How To, and it should populate under Conducting Research, Developing a Thesis. Here's primary sources and secondary source. So primary source is going to be any source that was written during the time period that it happened. It can be a journal, it can be a diary, it can be a newspaper article, it could even be a book, really, if it was written by somebody who lived during that time period and witnessed what happened. A secondary source is going to be something that is written much later on, and it's usually based off of analysis of several primary sources. So people who write secondary sources use primary sources for their evidence, but they collect all the information together and then they give a historical viewpoint. So any journal article that was written much later on, your textbook is a secondary source. Those are all secondary sources. So there's the difference right there. So go back to For Students and go to Student Resources, and you'll find lots of areas to search under helpful research links, but also there is how to write an annotated bibliography. So for part 2, you're going to write, you're going to have 3 sources and you're going to have an annotated bibliography. That means for each source, you're not only going to write a bibliography for it, but you're going to write an annotation. An annotation is going to be single space, and it's going to be indented in underneath your bibliography for that source. So you're going to use the correct format for your bibliography, and then you're going to write 2 to 4 sentences indented in single space about how that source is useful to your project. Okay, and so you can click right here, and this will take you to a little link that shows you the format for each type of. So if you have a journal article, you can go here, and it'll show you how to write the bibliography for it. So bibliography and then an annotation. At least 3 sources for your part 2. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. You can email me at kblackman@gacyber.org or give me a call at extension 2076. Thank you so much.